There's nothing more fun than building an environment like Bridgehead and then being able to take it all apart. I had a call from my boss, and he said, hey, there's a chance that we're going to be part of Avatar 3. We've been involved in all of the films, but the difference this time was taking on some of the hero characters. It was very, very exciting and kind of scary. One of the great things about this project is that Lightstorm builds these templates that really illustrate a lot of the decision-making that Jim has made on the shots already. So they come with camera, and they come with the motion and the layout of the scene, and even where lights would be. It's really unique, but if you don't have a roadmap like that, it could turn into chaos.
The template is a guide. It's the absolute intention, but whilst it's not the final product, adhering to the value of what's there.
Let's go.
The narrative value particularly, and the detail. That's where we really have had a great working relationship with ILM.
It's a huge challenge to work with these characters. Audiences have seen them for a long time. They know what they look like. We had to find different ways to kind of execute this work while still matching that super high bar that Weta set.
ILM's facial pipeline does differentiate from Weta's. The work that we do has to sit side by side. There can be no differentiation in how the skin's rendering, how the hair looks, or the performance itself.
You waste time!
The performances from the actors on this project are gold standard. A lot of the work that we do is making sure that we adhere to all the emotional component that was delivered in that performance as we translate it to the Na'vi characters.
We had to scan the actor that drives the digital Na'vi. So we've deployed our Medusa capture, which is ILM's proprietary scanning technology for facial performances. It's a multi-step process. So we captured performances of the actor into the Medusa rig. Then we extracted individual shapes, the geometry of the actor's face, and the data, how the skin slides, how the skin stretches. We also have tools to track all the eye darts, blinks, where they're looking. We call the process solve the actor. The one that we're currently looking at is the model of Sam Worthington. You can kind of see how close related they are from actor point to the digital character. It's not just about showing expressions, it's also how the face is connected between expression into the emotions. Then we can start the process of what we call retarget, where we take the actor and we translate it onto the Na'vi face.
And there is a world out there. There's things that those suits will never understand. The Na'vi call it Kame, to see.
This was one of our first development shots for Quaritch. We were working out multiple things at the same time. So it wasn't just the way the face moves, but also studying Weta's shots and looking at the sheen on the skin, and the skin response and pore detail. The most important thing was making sure that Steven's delivery was accurately translated into the character.
I'll see you at 06.
For body performance, we generally get the raw motion capture data from Lightstorm as part of the template ingest.
Go now, go!
But there's always going to be some delta between what was shot on the virtual production stage and what the CG environment may finally be.
There's things that you have to animate still because they're not captured, like tails, hair, and ears, that all feed into supporting the performance that the actor delivered.
This is the stage where we create simulation like cloth, muscle, and hair, making sure that the dreadlocks are moving into continuity between shot to shot. Everything is reacting based on physics.
We always start with a couple principles, and one of them is no motion just for motion's sake.
Mistake!
You could probably fill a book of how a Na'vi tail should move and whether it should behave to support the physical or emotional tone of a shot.
Come on, let's go!
This was a super fun sequence for our animation team to work on. It definitely presented a range of challenges for us. There's definitely a language and a rhythm to how the Na'vi will ride the Ekrons, especially when the Ekrons are banking really severely. You'd think that they would lean in the way that a motorcycle rider might, but they actually do kind of the opposite. She's essentially countering the way that the Ekron's moving. It's called high-siding.
We do talk a lot about the characters on this film, but actually the environments are just as complicated to build. It took us over a year to build Bridgehead, and it was a lot of back and forth, just kind of going over every detail on these buildings, all of the graphics, all of the signage. One of the things that you're seeing here is how complex geometrically the build of this world is. It's really important to always look at the shots in terms of like, how do we establish the right amount of depth? We don't want anything to feel small.
These scenes are incredibly dynamic. There's a lot of action, there's a lot of destruction, and there's a lot of hard surface vehicles and interaction. So a lot of the work that we're doing is reinforcing the scale.
One of the challenges was being able to portray this sea wasp coming in and firing with the right amount of firepower and making sure that it feels chaotic, but that we're not going to kill Jake, and enough destruction around us that it doesn't completely smoke up the shot.
Action!
We got the opportunity to do some massive explosions. This was one of the first shots that we started working on for destruction. Getting exactly right the feeling of metal bending and crushing. We had to just make sure that everything was physically plausible.
Animation does the blocking of the sea wasp falling down. We just use that as a guide for timing.
Down!
We want to make this explosion look as physically accurate as possible, and that's where the effect simulation comes in.
Everybody was just so excited to work on this movie because they wanted the chance to be a part of this really groundbreaking industry level setting project. So that was really fun to be a part of and to get to work with that energy.